I received an email from my application portal and it says, so yeah, it took more than a couple months to talk about this. It's honestly taken a lot of time to process my first quarter of 2022 regarding my PhD application results. I have already shared with you how my PhD application process was extremely stressful. When I began to work on my PhD applications, I thought it would be more or less the same process as my undergrad applications. You need 3 letters of rec, you write your personal statement. Some other schools, you write research proposal and diversity statement for UC schools, and just a bit more research on your potential advisor. I thought that would be it. I had these naive thoughts to myself. How hard could this be when I already went through this grueling master's study at the LSE? But I was wrong. So wrong. After months of working on my PhD applications, I realized this requires a completely different approach, and that the more information you have, the better chance you got. Now that I have more time to sit with myself and really process what I have gone through, I have distilled this massive emotions into 3 main takeaways. 1, don't let shame, embarrassment, and anxiety take over you. Now, waiting for PhD result was a lot more intense than I thought. You submit your applications early December or up to early January. So your waiting time is usually from January to March for schools in North America. And this is what I wrote on my journal on February 22nd this year. Feel dejected. What did I do wrong? Was my SOP bad? My LORs, my letter of recs, my fit? What's the problem? This was the time when you start hearing other applicants getting an interview or vice versa. It was an excruciating time when you poured your heart and soul into these applications, and if you don't hear from your dream schools, it starts to shatter your self-esteem. It is February 7th, 2022. So I am making this video to document my journey into PhD. And to be honest, I'm really nervous. I know that God has good plans for me, and if He closes this year's doors, then probably it's not the right timing. However, just the amount of efforts and money that I had put into creating all these, I don't know, it was a lot. I want to be able to remember these moments, what it was like to challenge myself to redesign my career path. And I am really nervous. I just got an email from Mission Decision Now available. I literally couldn't sleep at all last night because I knew that they were going to send out the decision letter throughout the night. And not getting into your dream school is always painful. So from January to March, I started going through this spiral of emotions while I was waiting to hear back from schools. I was feeling like, gosh, I am so stupid. Maybe I shouldn't even have applied. Maybe I'm just not cut out to be a PhD material. For months, I could not get out of these incredibly self-destructive thoughts. And especially coming from LSE, where everyone seems to be so successful, so smart, and you kind of have to already know the answer before your professor asks. That's the kind of environment that I was in and I was used to. So I started getting it to the point where I felt maybe I shouldn't have quit my job after all. My job as a news anchor came with lots of prestige, good money, good social status. Maybe I shouldn't even have challenged myself to go for masters in the first place. So these emotions of shame, anxiety, feeling stupid, embarrassment, they started devouring me. And also having this awful feeling, my professors, whom I asked for my rec letters, I didn't know how to tell them. To get over my depression, I needed to kick all the bad moods. Now, these emotions didn't go away for a long time. I'd cry 4 to 5 times a day, in the morning when I wake up and night before I go to bed. I felt completely devoured by self-destructive emotions of despair, shame, feeling worthless. Around this time, I reconnected with one of my friends who also did her master's the year before, and we started talking about how she finally got a job at UN in New York after a year and a half of grueling job hunting. She's also a mature student like I am, who was in her late 30s. She actually advised me to go get therapy as she also struggled with her own depression and anxiety issues after her master's program. Now, I think for mature students who already have experiences working in the industry and accomplishments, oftentimes we tend to have higher standards because we do have those accomplishments. And especially during the pandemic, our future seemed so dark and hopeless. There were not enough opportunities, and also I didn't feel like I got enough support. People post on LinkedIn how they got a new job, a new position in a consulting firm, etc. No matter how happy I was for my friends and colleagues, but it was painful. A really talented guy who graduated from both Cambridge and Oxford even shared this particular post on his LinkedIn. I'm sharing this only because it had a really, really important message to be shared, and it was a public post. Now, another reason why these PhD rejections might have seemed so much harder for me to process than any other rejections in the past was because I was, in a way, used to having a thriving career. I have experiences of being rejected 300 times when I started my broadcasting career, auditioning at various places. It was a very weird time in Korea where there was a big anti-sentiment towards students who studied abroad, especially in Anglo-Saxon countries. So I worked really, really hard in the early years to get that one line in my resume that I have experiences in broadcasting. So after having that one line, I started acquired relevant skills, refined those skills continuously by reinvesting my money to take multiple trainings and expanding my insights. And after all that, I got to the point where I started enjoying a career with relatively less efforts. People called me for work, people wanted me, I had a talent to bring it. I didn't have to go out to search for things. So after reflecting on all of these, I came to a rude awakening that I needed to acknowledge that I'm starting from scratch. I needed to be a lot more humble. Not that I was never arrogant or anything, but that it was a sense of acknowledgement of where I was standing in terms of shifting my career, ultimately trying to follow my vision and calling, and trying really, really, really hard to kick all the bad moods. After all, my depression and anxiety was caused by
a mix of things, overcoming financial situations that were so pressuring, trying to get a housing, moving from house to house, experiencing racial and cultural discrimination.
And this pre-PhD process actually taught me a really, really important life lesson, which was I gotta fix my gaze onto my vision and calling. Not results, not speed, not fruits, not prestige, not money, but knowing where I'm heading towards. So when I finally received my PhD admissions offer at the end, it felt too surreal. I didn't know how to take this emotionally because I was at a state where I had already given up everything. I was completely drained, both physically and spiritually. In this video, I want to share the final message. We must experience failures to succeed. Failures don't become failures unless you let those moments be your failures. And with any academic applications, they might reject your application. It's your application that gets rejected. These results don't define you. They can't tell your worthiness. They can't tell your potential. We all have something incredible to share with the world, and that's why we are here. Through this process, I learned how important it is to always fix my gaze on the purpose of life. I actually would love to encourage everyone to do this at your own time, to set your own definition of success. In this capitalist day of meritocracy, materialism, it can only be very skin deep. It is a very abstract term and understood differently by everybody. So for me, success is liking who I'm becoming, liking what I'm doing, and liking where I'm going towards. And of course, I thank Maya Angelou for this incredible definition. And so, where is my next destination? I decided to accept my PhD admissions offer.